Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. People are tossing around terms like end stage capitalism and the coming civil war. I don't believe these things are here yet. End stage capitalism is primarily a Marxist theory. And while a more extreme interpretation would say, yes, these are the end times of capitalism with more and more wealth being siphoned to the upper class and less for the middle and lower class, it's not entirely an accurate picture. The issue where we start to approach end stage capitalism is the opportunities available for people. There's lots of opportunities for jobs, but it's not that people don't want to flip burgers or don't want to, serve French fries. It's the amount of disrespect in those places and the incredibly low wages you're paid. Even if we ramp the minimum wage up to something insane like $50 an hour, ultimately, that all goes back into the pockets of the billionaires because the restaurants up their prices more than double what they're forced to give up. So they're still raking it in, and the people at the bottom lose no matter what happens. Now, 50 years ago, even 30 years ago, it was still possible to make a lot of inroads. Computers were still new and mysterious. The internet, HTML coding, we still had the blink function on HTML. And a lot of people had visionary ideas. And the search engines were popping up all over the place. You had primitive social networks. Heck, even IRC, Internet Relay Chat, was doing well for itself. And I would say that was the last real open frontier. Because if you're deciding to open a business, let's say you make really tasty pancakes, right? Pancakes are simple, but you know how to embellish them. You have that secret ingredient. You offer with bananas and chocolate chips, whatever people might want in a pancake, and you can deliver them on a timely manner. You think, well, naturally, I'm going to open my own fast food place. It's not that simple. First of all, you have to open the fast food place. Secondly, you have to pass the government inspections, which I don't have a problem with. They're there because, well, I'll be honest, I have an Egyptian friend, and I mentioned him, I like mango juice. He says, oh, I want to take you to Cairo and get you some mango juice. And I said, why? Is it the best? He said, oh, you're going to enjoy it. And in 2 hours, you're going to be in the toilet for the rest of your trip because none of these street vendors are authorized. They have no they have no inspections. They don't wash their hands, nothing like that. So you're going to taste the best glass of mango juice you ever had, but you're going to pay for it. True story. Not that the stories I tell are ever untrue. So again, I respect the inspections from the government. So you get through all that, you're thinking, okay, I got my griddle, I got my pancake stuff set up, ready to go. Nope, you're not. You got to get insurance. And this is a killer most people with business ideas don't realize. So you have two choices. You can operate under the table, which leaves you open to all sorts of fines and possibilities, or you can operate over the top. Let's assume your pancakes are as good as you think they are, because never trust anybody you're giving a free meal to. Gordon Ramsay was right. No one's going to complain if you're giving it to them for free. So when you open your doors and you're waiting for that big rush, and the first person that walks in, I don't like these very much. Too much butter, too much salt, too much whatever, they have a complaint. And that's one of the nicer complainers. They're not, I'm going to sue, let me see your manager. I'm going to tell all my friends never to come here, blah, blah, blah. That's more the experience that you're going to get. Probably once a day, maybe more. Depends on your location. It depends on the attitude of the customers in your area. And ironically, the rich areas where you want to have your business so you can charge your premium are worse than the poor areas. That's why I say the internet was the last big step forward. Because you could sit there behind your desk or even at home on your computer and you could make the next killer website and the next killer app and never really have to interact with somebody. You upload it to whatever store and it would sell, it wouldn't sell, whatever it might be. And the complaints you get are impersonal. It's not the person in your face saying that they had one French fry less this time than they did last time. And yeah, it's a more calm atmosphere. And that's kind of the way we need to start thinking about things. People today are allowed to hang up on customers that are being rude to them. At least most are. Some businesses still retain the model, you can't hang up no matter what until they do. I've had that a couple times recently. I'm like, really? It's 2023. And I've had the opposite. One woman claimed I was being rude, and I said, I know what rude is, and I'm not being told. And she said, oh, you're threatening me, and hung up. I didn't threaten you at all. I said, I know what being rude is. So I think we're moving away from face-to-face contact. But there's only so many positions you can do without face-to-face. I've negotiated contracts for most of my adult life. And while you can do it over the phone, and I've done a lot, anything big, anything more than a one-off job, you need to go in person. When my friends were moving, they went with the company that actually came out and measured everything. Because even though it wasn't the cheapest, that company, who's actually a major company, knows what they're doing. And they know some places have a whole lot of stuff and some places don't have much stuff. And they were willing to come send an assessor out to say, hey, this needs to be done. That was for a small contract, but a move is considered a big contract for most people. For the big guys, it's nothing. It's stuff under the bridge. But just the fact they were willing to make that much of an effort to make sure their customer was satisfied. And believe me, I've worked for a company where they loved adding accessorial charges at the end. Oh, needs a tailgate? We'll just charge you extra. Oh, needs, you need to carry it up some stairs? I'll just charge you extra. And believe me, it's one of the things they hate. And I will tell you, because I'm not naming the company, there's one guy who's not sole job, but most of his job is to go in on all those bills and say, and just add those accessorial charges. Now, this man is fair. I've seen him reject a lot of the things that the drivers are saying. I know that place. You don't need to hand bob anything in anywhere. Denied. Or another place. This one is an inside delivery. I'm adding it on. He is fair. But as a customer, you're expecting to get a bill. And you're quoted $200 for whatever it is. When it comes back $300, your natural instinct is to say, what the hell? Transportation companies, I get one from the bottom up. But again, getting contracts is a struggle because we're all undercutting each other and the insurance is astronomical. Even just to start one, you got to put $1 million bond down just so that way you can start a company. That's not even buying equipment. That's not hiring an employee. So you're an independent contractor. Sorry, you're an independent person, not a contractor. You don't have a contract yet. And you have your idea. Unless your idea is something web-based or something you can do on your own, you're putting a lot of things at risk. Let's take a person that does roofing. We'll make it easy. He cleans out eaves trough and, maybe he replaces some shingles, just basic roofing stuff because everybody knows what a roof is. Everybody's been around so that they can see a roof being replaced. Not easy work. You're out there in the middle of summer. It's hot. The roof is blazing back at you. And you fall and you hurt yourself. Now you're kind of screwed because you're doing it under the table. And if you're not doing it under the table, then you got to subsidize your insurance and everything in the price. And everybody knows a, quote, handyman, end quote, that's willing to take that risk. That's why so many people have bad backs. They did all those things under the table quietly just to keep their boss happy. And the downside is the money is good. I'm not saying it isn't. But you wind up exposing yourself to a lot of risk. And even if it's a 1% risk, if you're doing it 100 times, that 1% becomes a significant factor. If you're doing it 1,000 times, that 1% is even bigger. So it's hard to open a storefront. It's hard to do odd jobs on the side. And there's levels of risk built in there unless you do everything by the government regulations. I'm not yelling at the government regulations again. I think they're valuable. But that's why people are depending on these minimum wage, unfulfilling jobs, and people are frustrated all around. I don't think it's going to explode into a revolution or a civil war or anything. Yes, there's frustration at politicians, and sometimes for very good reason. But the honest truth is, you can't really get anywhere in life with an average person's skills. Even if you're the best of your current profession and you think you want to go out on your own, there's so many obstacles set up. I know particular tools that allow me to check things that a person starting out would never have a clue about. I can predict the economy 6 months in advance. How do I do that? I'll tell you if you pay my consultant fee. But since we've made it so hard for the little guy with a vision to start their business, it's not impossible. It's very possible. It's just really hard and frustrates most businesses. Talking with my brother-in-law the other day, we both have an idea for a business. We both have a good idea for where to situate it, where the land would be, stuff like that, where we would take advantage of our customers. But then getting the licensing fee and, getting the insurance set up is a living nightmare. But now that I know I have one person that would go in there with me, the risk becomes less. And that's rare. My best friend and I, he's a very mature, calculating, analytical kind of guy. I know he'd never go in on me on that business. The reason is simple. It's a big risk. And he is risk averse, which admittedly in my time in life, I should be risk averse. But it wasn't like in KFC where the colonel was running a gas station and started serving his chicken out of the side, and he was still in his 60s trying to get Kentucky Fried Chicken off the ground. It ain't like that anymore. Heck, we're looking at things that my 10-year-old can do when she gets old in a couple of years. Like nobody's delivering newspapers anymore, or at least they're few and far between. Where you'd go around and mow people's lawns and, they'd pay you $20 or whatever it is. Well, people are now closing the door in those people's faces. Haha, thank you for mowing my lawn. No, I'm not paying you. Goodbye. And you're not even a contractor. You're just some kid. What do you do in that situation? It's awfully tough to bring any sort of legal recourse. And people with real equipment are signing contracts. So that's what you're competing against, a big business. Now, I don't blame people for using their resources to do gardening. I mean, some days it'd be nice just to pay somebody off and not have to mow the lawn. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. But even the little guys are getting squeezed. So we're not in end-stage capitalism, but we're on the precipice. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the years to come. With that, We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the bell icon down below it, just above the comments, so that way you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And we hope you have a fantastic day.